Hello everyone and welcome to another Bear Beer review. Today we're going to try another kind of local ale to me, brewed in Yorkshire at least. This is Nick Stafford's Hambleton Ales A Nightmare. This is a premium Yorkshire stout, nice deep dark beer I believe, brewed by Nick Stafford and Hambleton Ales up in the North Yorkshire moors, I think, just on the south end of the moors. And you might notice it's got the little Yorkshire White Horse on it, on the side of it, which is a really famous landmark up here. It's I think it says on the back here actually, having said that, it is 6 tons of lime, which is hand scored into the hillsides of Hambleton, and you can see when you're travelling some of the motorways. It's a really impressive sight to see, and the Hambleton Ales is apparently. At Hambleton Ales, we raise a glass to the inspirational Mr. Taylor, the guy who made the horse, whose vision has stood the test of time and whose extravagance enlivens the landscape of Yorkshire to this day. Just like Mr. Taylor, Hambleton Ales leaves a lasting impression. This one, I believe, has actually won a couple of awards back in the day. Championship Winter Beer of Britain 1997, so I mean that's a few years ago. Things have changed a bit since then, but I'm interested in having a look at it and giving it a shot, so let's crack it on open. I know this guy does a lot of contract brewing as well, and he does bottling. He does bottling for Brascas, I believe. Oh god. I'm rubbish at getting caps off beers. Always have been. Pour it into a nice big glass and see if we can get a bit of head on it. And first impressions are, it's not as dark as I thought it was going to be. By the looks of it, doesn't really show up on the camera, but it's a little bit more. It's kind of a ruby red, really dark ruby red, not as thick and as black as stouts you usually normally see. Nice kind of light tan, just off-white kind of coloured head going on there. Good finger on it, good finger bit of head, and it's got a good bit of retention going on the head too. So look, there's loads of bubbles around the side of the glass, but I can't see much in the way of fizziness going through it. Although I can already smell some of the aromas, so let's get our nose in there and give it a good smell. Well, yeah, it's got a nice kind of hint of roasted, toasty notes in it. And kind of bit of caramel as well, and a slight twinge of kind of cocoa and chocolate notes. It smells very sweet actually on the nose, rather than kind of deep and bitter chocolate. A lot sweeter than I was expecting, and you can kind of smell a bit of florally hoppy notes coming through it as well. So I don't think it's going to be as traditional as normal stout is. I don't think it's going to be too hugely malt forward. It might be a little bit more balanced. So yeah, without further ado, let's get in there. Cheers. Actually, you know what? Those malt flavours really come through. I'm drinking this a little bit on the warm side because, well, not literally warm, but not particularly chilled, because it kind of allows some of the malt flavours to come through. And there is a nice level of chocolate in this. And like I said, it's quite sweet actually. It's sweeter than I was expecting it to be. So there's some of the clearly got a kind of bit of a higher final gravity than some other stouts of this kind of percentage. I didn't mention it actually. Is it 5%? 5% ABV. It's quite sweet and chocolatey, and there's a nice kind of very subtle roasted sort of flavour coming through. And it kind of mixes with the bitterness, and it's a very light coffee, almost like a milky coffee sort of flavour at the back end of it. But predominantly, I can taste chocolate. I can taste kind of nice bittersweet chocolate. And there is a good level of bitterness as well, nice and pleasant across the palate. And overall, I can tell it is a really pleasant beer, and it's smooth. It's very creamy actually, probably the best way to place it. The carbonation is very. I could say it's very small bubbles that fizz very, very quickly across the tongue, and you get a nice, almost like a kind of draft style of smoothness. Obviously not, it won't ever kind of come across as smooth as a cask beer could do, but it's getting there and it's quite nice. Nice and thick mouthfeel too, which adds to the kind of depth and weight of the beer. And overall, I think this is actually a pretty good example of a nice, good and standard English stout, especially Yorkshire style stout, because it had a bit of head on it and it's staying. And I quite like it actually. It's definitely not absolutely mind-blowingly special, and it's not going to be. It's not being cask conditioned or any of the sorts. But I could definitely sit down and drink this any old day, I think. Especially a cold day, cooler than it is today. But I was sick of drinking pale ales and pale ales, and I wanted to try something just a little bit deeper and darker. And I've not tried anything by Nick Stafford before, and Hambleton ales before. So yeah, this is very pleasant. I think this is a nice 8 out of 10. It's a very good example of a style. Like I said, nothing particularly special. I think I could try numerous other stouts and get much the same flavour as I could from this one, but the mouthfeel is particularly good. That creamy mouthfeel is actually very pleasant, and I quite like the slightest slight sweetness, like sweet milk chocolatey flavour to it as well. Not on the levels of milk stouts or kind of extra sweetened stouts, but almost there. And it's pleasant. I really quite enjoy this. So well done, Nick Stafford and Hambleton ales. I might revisit this one again someday soon, I hope. So like, favourite, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think if you've ever tried anything by Nick Stafford and Hambleton ales. In particular if you've tried Nightmare. And I shall see you all again on the next Bear Beer review. Cheers.